Yes, Zach. Get in here. Well, welcome to another episode of the Heart Pursuit podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Allie.
And I'm Erin.
And we are super excited about our podcast today. Like, I'm just over the moon right now with this podcast because if you can't tell, we have guests. We have guests. Erin, what are we talking about today?
So, because we have such special guests with us, we are going to be diving into community. What does it mean to actually have community in your life? Why is it important? And how can we actually do it here at Pure Heart? So we want to know a little bit about who you are. We have Miss Erin Rathier here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Yay.
If you want to tell us, like, what do you do here at Pure Heart? What are you passionate about? What keeps you going every day? And we just want to know more about you.
So I'm Erin Rathier, as you said. And Erin, you said my name just right. I'm so happy. I am the Heart Cruise director here at Pure Heart. I just came on in, I guess October. I came around and decided to stay in January. And it's been really fun. So I get to help put some structure to small groups here. What else do you need to know about me? I'm a mom, have 3 wonderful kids, great husband, have been in ministry for 26 years.
Respect.
Yeah, so crazy. Most of my time has been spent with teenagers. So I love where you guys sit. Teenagers are my favorite people in the world. What keeps me going daily, I would probably just have to say Dr. Pepper keeps me going daily.
I love that.
I mean, that really.
Have you had
really.
the new strawberries and cream one though?
Why would I mess up Dr. Pepper with strawberries and cream,
So
Josh?
good. It's so
Wait,
good.
so you don't do coffee?
I don't drink coffee. No,
You
I don't like
Dr.
coffee.
Pepper.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's
No
really
energy
not. It's
drinks?
really bad for me, but sometimes
It's all natural.
Hey, you know, there was this quote once from this lady who was coming on like the end of her life. And the one thing that she regretted the most was not eating enough ice cream. And I never, ever want to have a day where I'm like, at the end of my life, I'm like, I should have had more ice cream.
So you're supporting my Dr. Pepper
Yes!
habit.
Well, they do have
We
a Dr.
condone
Pepper
this.
ice cream now.
A Dr. Pepper ice
No,
cream.
they-
How do you
it's-
know so much about
I've
Dr.
had it.
Pepper?
I have it at my
Dr.
house.
Pepper
Oh my
float?
gosh, that's amazing.
I think I've had a
It's
Dr.
amazing.
Pepper float before.
No, it's just Dr. Pepper ice cream. It's branded that.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Like a Breyer's Dr.
Bluebell, I
Pepper.
think.
Probably.
Bluebell.
Bluebell.
Okay.
I love it.
I
It's
will
good.
say the thing that I'm really passionate about in ministry is I just want to see people connected to other people. I always have felt that
So good.
ministry should be highly relational. I've never been about like crowd ministry is
So
what I
good.
call it. But I love to see people. I think people grow when they are connected to other believers. I mean, I say it all the time, but I just fully believe it is that that time we spend with other people. You were saying earlier before this all started, but that you don't like the surface level stuff. And I feel like that's how I am. If I'm going to do this, we're going to know each other and we're going to get in there. So
Like, speaking of connection, because I feel like that really ties into Josh, your role here. So this is Josh Steffen. Tell us a little bit about who you are. What do you love? And what keeps you going every day, whether that's Dr. Pepper or what you're passionate about.
Heck yeah. My name is Josh Steffen again. I work. I'm the Connection Hub, or what is it? The First Impressions team director. And mostly I get to do kind of what you do, Erin. And I also dabble in her world with Heart Cruise, which has been awesome. That's where I first started. And then I recently moved over into this First Impressions team. But what was the other question?
What are you passionate about?
Oh man, I
Like,
love
what keeps
people.
you doing what you do?
Yeah, I love people. Just my favorite thing is hanging out with Rachel and getting to know all my leaders and also all of you guys who come on campus and who are new and come up to the Connection of a talk, or whether that's me just walking around and saying hi to you, shaking your hand, getting your name. That brings me passion. Also, I love what keeps me going is watching Batman every night, The Dark Knight, or the Batman, the
you
new
had
one.
to mention them, huh? You had to
Had
mention
I
to
them.
had
do
to
it.
bring it in.
Had
I
to bring
couldn't
it
keep
in.
it out. But I watch it every night. You can ask my wife, which I do have a wife. 2 years.
Every night, like every
No,
night.
I haven't missed a night. You can ask Amanda. I
Since
haven't missed a
when?
night
How long?
since
Like a
junior year of high
movie?
school.
You watch
I'm
like
23.
How many years was
movie
that?
every night?
So
I
like
watched the
5
same-
years?
So
6 years?
probably 6 years. I've been out of high school for 5, so probably 6. I literally will
Keep
watch
math,
it all the way
math.
through.
So like 2,000 days you have watched
Oh, yeah.
Batman every single night.
Yeah, unless I couldn't bring my Apple TV with me to watch it. But
That's amazing.
what
But
it
are we
is,
talking like
every
Batman
night.
movie
Batman
or like
movie.
a TV show, like
Batman
a cartoon,
movie, the same movie,
like
I can actually.
any realm of Batman.
Well, I watch all the Batmans, but The Dark Knight is my favorite. And I literally
Is that the one with Heath Ledger?
Heath Ledger, rest in peace.
Can you do an impression?
No.
Not
I
of anyone.
cannot.
Do
I
an impression
can't.
right now. You can.
Okay,
Come
let's
on.
see.
You can
Wait,
do
of
it.
who?
Do the Joker.
Come on, why?
Oh, no.
Why
I
so
embarrassed
serious?
myself so bad at dinner with
I've heard him
her
do it
family.
before.
That was bad. But I literally I watch it all the way through, and I used to until Amanda finally told me how to stop. But I would
girl.
restart it and go to bed to it.
Stand your ground, Amanda.
Stand
I
your
know.
ground, Amanda. We're praying for
I
you.
know. It is bad. But I have a 2-month-old, and then I will be celebrating 2 years on Sunday, marriage-wise. So
Love
yeah.
that.
That's crazy.
Congratulations.
2 years.
Yes,
Wow.
so sweet.
I love it. Well, you know what? We are going to dive into just a deeper conversation and get a little bit below the surface. Obviously, we love getting to know you guys, but Jesus was the perfect example of what community should be like. He spent his life serving other people, but more than that, he spent his life just loving and getting to know people really well. And so I love what you said of just connecting to like know people. It's not about like trying to get something from them or trying to get them to do something, but it's truly just to know someone.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of building a relationship and having real community. So really, to start things off, Josh, if you could tell us, what would be the best way for someone to get connected here whenever they come on a weekend?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of you guys who are new, who even if you just raise your hand other than the service, or if you want to come up and talk to us at the Connection Hub, we do, like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but we have people up front, prayer team wise, who will love to pray for you if you have anything you need to pray about. And also, like, it is intimidating to come up to the Connection Hub, which is where, like, I'll be, where Rachel will be, a lot of other people will be. And if you want to talk to them, if it's too intimidating to come up to the Connection Hub, go down and get some prayer with them, and then maybe they can help direct you towards me or Rachel, who was ever at the Connection at the time, so that way we can get you into Heart Cruise. And the main thing is we want to get you into Heart and Soul, which is our membership class, and that is led by either John Jennings or myself, and Pastor John, I should say. If you know him better by Pastor John, not John Jennings. But yeah, and it's just a membership class. So we just go through our heart values and stuff like that. But yeah, just come through the Connection Hub, and we love to talk to you.
And when does the Heart and Soul usually happen?
Every third weekend of the month. So we have one coming up this weekend. So if you haven't, I don't know when this airs, but if you haven't signed up already, sign up or just show up. It's 5:30 on Saturday nights at Brushfire, or it's the 11:30 service at Brushfire as well.
And I think you get them chips and salsa, don't you?
Oh yeah, and a,
I
and a
mean, that's
free
worth it
and a
all
free
itself.
Dr. Pepper if you
Hey,
want.
free Dr. Pepper.
Aaron's in.
We're all
What?
going
Aaron
on
is
Sunday.
I'll be there every month. My
yeah.
goodness.
Let's
Aaron
go.
is in.
I
Yeah,
love it.
there's so many ways to connect on the weekends, and at the Connection Hub, they are more than ready to get you connected, serving on a team.
Yeah.
There you can find a lot of connections and deeper relationships. But I love that you mentioned the Heart Cruise,
Yeah.
and you can sign up for a Heart Crew at the Connection Hub, I believe.
Yes.
But we are in Heart Crew season,
Yeah.
and for those who don't know, Heart Crews are our small groups here, but I'm just so excited to see already what God has been doing and what he's going to continue to do. But can you just dive us in a little bit deeper on Heart Crews and what they mean to us and why we find them important, and why we believe that people should join one?
Yeah, so Heart Crews here at Pure Heart are groups of 12 to 16 people that gather weekly in a few semesters. I like to joke and say we don't ask for your whole year. It's just half the year about when the 3 semesters happen.
So good.
Yeah, and it's really a great rhythm because we start in August when about school start time, because it's a normal time when families kind of start new things again. And we go all the way till the week before Thanksgiving. And then we take off from Thanksgiving till after New Year. So again, when families get really busy, things are hectic, we kind of take a break. And then in January, we jump back in for about 8 weeks, take 2 weeks off around spring break, and then jump in for another 8 weeks, and then take the summer off. So it's really a nice rhythm to create this regular thing that happens in your life where you're meeting with other believers and opening God's word. That's key. For me, I really firmly believe that if we're going to meet in community and small groups, we need to open God's word together. We need to talk about it,
So true.
talk about the message that happened. You know, for me, having been in ministry so long, so many people come into church that don't have anyone doing this with them. Maybe their spouse isn't going to church, or their parents don't go to church, or they're not married, or whatever it is. And I think sometimes it's hard to leave church and hear all this great stuff, but not have anyone to process with, not have anyone
So
to
true.
talk about how does this apply to us today? How do I make these changes? And it's when you first start out in this relationship with Jesus, there's so many things that are so different from the world that we're trying to figure out, right? Jesus's kingdom is so backwards from what our world looks like.
Yeah,
And
that's
so having people to talk to that you build relationship with and trust is just key to that growth. I love when in groups, someone will say, hey, I opened my Bible and I saw this in there and I don't get it. I don't know what this is. And they are comfortable enough to ask the people sitting in a setting just like this, hey, can you share this with me? I had a good friend who didn't even know Jesus when he started in a small group, and he wound up asking the hard questions that I know he wouldn't have asked if he was just in service. Because who was he going to ask? He's not going to ask the pastor because that feels like, well, I should know this, kind of thing. Maybe not connect anyone. So when we get connected to other people and we open God's word together and we love each other and we care about each other, it really helps us to understand things of God and how to walk out this Christian life differently than trying to do it by ourselves.
Yeah, that's so good. And I love that you even just mentioned that, because I could totally relate to somebody who may be coming from a smaller church, and they're coming onto campus for the very first time, and it is intimidating.
Yeah.
And you can see so many people connecting with other people and very easily feel like, wow, I have nobody.
Right.
But then to even just have that courage, it's hard to find the courage to even what you're saying. We can recognize wow, I need people, but where do I start here?
Yeah.
And it's great if you're coming in for the first time and we are really pushing Heart Cruise and pushing connection, but what would you say to those people that are a little insecure and are a little afraid to step out, or where do they even start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, like you said, we're in these sign up weekends. So there's a big push and it's very out in the open and in front of you. And we're encouraging everyone to get involved. But any other time of the year where Josh is at the Connection Hub is a great place to get started, to just tell them, hey, I want to get connected. How do I get connected here? We have some different options online. We finally got all the groups up online. Yay. It's been a labor of love this summer to get that done. But you can actually go on the Pure Heart website and you can look through all the different crews that have openings in them. You can head to the Connection Hub and just let them know. You can email us at grow@pureheart.org and just say, hey, I'm new. I want to get connected. Here's the deal. I would love it if every person who walked on the Pure Heart campus would feel that they are known and that they are seen. There's no lonelier place than a crowd of people when you're by yourself, just like you said.
Yeah, it's so true.
Think about it. It is.
Are those
Goosey.
I
little
know.
baby
I know.
mountains on my arm?
Because we've all been there, right? We've all walked
Yeah.
into a room or a group of people who all know, or you think they all know each other, and you just feel like I am so alone. And so
You're coming
my
down
heart-
a lot of lanes right now, Erin. You're coming down a lot of lanes.
Yeah, because I've been there. I've been on them, you know. So my heart is just that we would have so many group leaders. We would have our staff functions this way, but we would keep building new and new avenues for people to be seen, to be known, and to find their spot. You know, we want to create space for everyone to find that connection and to be able to feel like they belong to something. In a church this size, it's never going to feel like you know everyone here. We all go to different services, different things. But if there are 12 to 16 people that when I walk on campus see me and are happy to see me and smile, that's going to change everything.
Yeah. I love that. And you've mentioned once before too, I love that you said, hey, if one Heart Crew isn't working out for you, you're not committed to this.
No.
I feel like a lot of times we're even just afraid to commit to commit our time, or I'm stuck with this forever, or we develop this script in our brains, right, where it's like, I can't ever get out of this, or I'll feel bad, or like if you're a people person like me, like you don't want to let anybody down,
Right.
so then you just, I don't know, but like you've said it before, it's like you can try a different one.
Yeah.
Like you're not set in stone to anyone. So they don't have to attend on a Sunday. Obviously, we want them to, but they can still sign up for a Heart Crew online.
Yes,
anywhere.
absolutely. Online on the website.
Okay.
You can view them all, see all the information. And like you said, we know that we don't get along with every person the same way. We might be fine in just a casual setting, but when you start getting into the real things of life, you have to have the right group of people that you're going to trust and you're going to feel like you fit with. And so absolutely. And I think a lot of people come out of other churches where like they got in a group and there was a culture of like, what? You don't want my group? Why not? And so I train our leaders is that, listen, you know you don't fit, so
Don't
why
take
do
it
we expect
personally.
everyone else? And the leaders every single time are just phenomenal. They will start messaging me, hey, I don't think this is going to work for so-and-so. I really want them to find a crew. What else do you have? Like the leaders' hearts
good.
also are, yeah, I don't want you to stay here if this is not it for you.
Yeah.
Because it does change things. And because we meet in these 3 semesters, you're only committing 1 semester at a time. You can stay in your crew forever if you want to. But if at the end of a semester you're like, I need a break or I want to try a different one, that's fine too. The natural rhythm of it is to do that. So we are working really hard to take all the obstacles away.
Yeah.
We don't want any obstacles. The enemy puts enough obstacles in us to not get in community because, of course, he would rather us not be in community.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go down that
so good.
lane. Let's go down like any fear that, we could come up with that the enemy is placing within us to not take that next step.
Yeah. Well, I feel like there's so much that could go into that, just like you were saying, of insecurities or even the fear of like letting someone down. Like, I don't want to commit my time and commit my energy because that also means that you are committing your energy at the same time, and so I don't want to invest and then have to leave and then I don't want to disappoint anybody. But it also, I even think about the leaders that they are sacrificing their time and their energy to pour into the people that join into their crew. And so I love the culture that you guys have built with that of the leaders just being so supportive for people that even if they do have fears, they meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
And they're, I love that it's not very forceful, although it's really encouraging, So I think it's really easy for someone to come listen to the messages on the weekend, come worship, and then that little extra push that they need to actually get into community. Sometimes it's a faith jump for them.
for sure.
And I think something like this last weekend where we were super intentional every single service of getting people plugged in, I think that might have been a push that some people have been waiting for. I think sometimes people are just waiting for someone to ask them like, hey, will you do this with me?
Absolutely.
Like, this is what we're doing. Jump on the bus with me, like, let's get going. And I think sometimes a lot of people are just waiting to be seen and wanting to feel seen because it is lonely. It's lonely to walk into a really large room that seats over 1,000 people.
Right.
And it can be dark in the room, so then you really don't feel seen. And so how do you feel seen in a big church?
Yeah.
And I think the best way to do that is in community. So I would say if you're listening to this or you're watching this and you do feel like you haven't really taken that faith jump to jump into community, I think this is the perfect time. And this is a great opportunity for you to meet new people that will also take that same faith jump as you. Because I think if you have someone else doing it with you, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So speaking of fears, I think it would be really interesting to kind of hear something more a little bit about like you guys personally, like what are some personal fears that you experienced whenever you first joined a crew? Like how did you feel? Maybe whenever you were first invited or whenever you first saw the opportunity.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I think for me, it's just like feeling accepted by my other crew people. Like I knew a couple people in my crew when I pulled up, but majority wise I didn't, and I was the youngest one there. I'm only 23 years old. So like I purposely like to put myself in a little bit older groups because I like more wisdom and want to learn more. And I'm like, man, what if, these people got way more life ahead of them and I just don't know much and I'm still learning and this and that. And I don't want to look like an idiot when I share stuff or my mistakes that I've made. I don't want to be judged, but listening to everybody and all that stuff and what they've gone through. And obviously you get wisdom by making mistakes and learning and all this and that, and it's okay for my mistakes. So I was like, oh, let me open up, and I was received, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And now
That's
I
good.
literally want to go every week. So
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
good.
yeah,
That's so good. He does. He will tell me when we're in the office, tonight's my crew. And I'm like, I'm so glad. I'm so excited for you. Yeah, he loves it.
I love it.
Loves it. So I was trying to think about the first time I went into a small group setting, and I won't lie, I didn't like small groups at all for most of my ministry life, and I was always the staff person in trouble for not being in one. And I was always getting the
That is
look
shocking.
like, Aaron. And I was like, well, I'm really busy with teenagers. It's just a busy time. I'm with them 3
Yeah.
times a week. I have plenty of, but really I
So
just
were
didn't
you
like
a youth
them.
pastor?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Preaching from the heart, girl.
Yeah. So I didn't like them, and it was for very specific reasons. Real snotty. Here's what you have to know. This is what you'll get to know about me. There is a real snotty side to Aaron. But we would get in these groups, and the people wouldn't do the homework, and then someone would just complain about their life the whole time, which sounds
yeah.
mean, but it was like, you're just telling me the same thing every week, and we're never getting anywhere, and I don't know why I'm doing this. So the first time I went, I think, to one that was not being told to me to go to one, Mike and I had, our kids were all little, but Mike had been out of work for a couple years, and we had left our church where I was on staff, and we were attending a big church here in the valley just to kind of hide for a little bit. But we were just so broken from him being out of work for so long and stuff. And we go into this, we pull up to this house in our neighborhood, and I just remember thinking like, I hope they like us. I hope our
Yeah.
kids aren't too wild. I hope that they don't know that we have absolutely $0 in our bank account. You know, like all the things. I don't want them to know all these things about us. But we get into this crew not knowing who would be in it at all. And it was people older than us, but it was just so amazing because they just wound up taking care of us. It was like such a, like,
That's beautiful.
all of my fear about things. Mike got a job and I got a job at the same time, and we needed childcare, and they all jumped in and handled it. And it's like, I don't know these people at all.
Yeah.
You know, it'd been so early, but like I came in with all this, okay, we'll do it because we're desperate. But then God was just so good.
Yeah.
God was so good.
Yeah. And I just really value that. And thank you both for talking about kind of some of your fears that maybe some of our listeners or viewers will be able to relate to when thinking about, should I join one, should I not? But I know right on the other side of fear is fruit and it's faith. And I just want to know, like, what has your experience been, like, what fruit has come from your life since you've joined a heart crew? Like, what have you seen God do? Like, you know, the miracles of, my kids were watched over and we didn't know like how we were going to do this, you know, but what else? Not that that doesn't matter, but have you guys seen additional fruit come from, like, you set fear aside and you went, and now because of that, you're experiencing fruit in this area?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, I think for me, like, in our crew, our crew mostly all has kids, or we're all similar in age in a way, or a little bit older, but it's like we all have kids now almost. And
Did you have kids before? Like, what water are
No.
you guys drinking at this?
So-
Just kidding.
see, I didn't.
Everybody
Are
has
you like,
kids.
I'm going or I'm not going?
That's so funny.
Just kidding.
No, yeah, it's awesome, but like, I think for me, I wanted to find a crew with my wife. Our main goal was to find forever friends and
good.
to grow up, because for me, wise, growing up, my parents were always in crews, and they were all had, maybe not crews, but like life groups, small groups type of stuff. And they're all of us kids would hang out and get together, and you know, with just how busy life is, I don't see it much anymore. So for me, I was like, well, I really want to get in a crew where it's like I'm best friends with all of them, and our kids love each other, and we vacation together, and all this and that, and just do life together. You know, like we're not meant to do life alone, and
Yeah.
I think that's super important, like you were saying earlier. And yeah, I love my crew. I have no doubt we'll all be friends forever, no matter what. So I enjoy my crew a lot, and that's what I was looking forward to most.
Forever friends.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the fruit. So
Forever
good.
friends.
So good.
So good.
We can make a bracelet or something for you.
Yeah, right.
friends.
Or go on a
Friends.
crew cruise, you know.
A crew cruise.
Crew cruise.
Another
They're
new
really
business
trying.
idea. I love
thought
it.
about it.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
That's so good.
For me, there's just been so many things. I think that, like Josh, we have made some lifelong friends. The first one, after we started doing things in this semester message-based stuff was probably the best time I ever had in a small group. And that's when I was like, everyone needs this.
Yeah.
But we were, after about a year and a half of this group meeting together, we were leaving our church where I was on staff, and it was devastating and it was hard and it was not an easy leave. And our crew showed up for the next year, even though they were all still at the other church.
Wow.
And the first night they brought dinner, brought flowers, we're
Oh my
here,
gosh.
we've got it. And so it was just so cool to just be cared for, even as the leader, is to be cared for by these people. And they stayed at the church and we weren't. And so there was never any like bad feelings because we were in it together. We were doing this together, and that group, we stayed together for 5 years.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And everybody's at different churches now, but we're all still friends. We did a lot of life together, kids doing drama classes together and all kinds of things. One of them did hair, so we all started getting our hair done by her. You know what I mean? Like it
Nice.
just became kind of this thing. But the other thing I love is just how much I learn about God's word when other people are talking about it. I love to hear what God says to everyone else about their word, about the word, or about the message that weekend. Because a lot of times it's stuff I hadn't thought of. Every time we come to God's word, we have all of our own stuff in our head. And God's saying something specific to us, but then he's saying something specific to each of you. And so when we can sit and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. That's so
Yeah, it's
good. I love
beautiful.
that. I love that part of it too.
Yeah.
We've been able to care for other people in ways we wouldn't have been able to, been a part of hard days. But then also been a part of really great days together. One of the couples, the one that I was talking about earlier, got engaged and we're getting married, and it wound up, they didn't know any of us 2 weeks before they got engaged, and by the time the wedding came, we had done the food and the pictures and the reception and so it's just wild. It's just wild how when you put God at the center, we may not all be exactly alike, but there's some kind of crazy bond that happens because
So good.
he's knitting our hearts together. He is pulling us together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Good
So
stuff.
good.
I love that. That is so good. And just a small encouragement for anybody that is listening or watching. You don't have to be a theologian genius to join a heart crew or even host a heart crew. I know we've closed off hosting a heart crew, but maybe if that's something God's calling you to next round of heart crews, you don't have to know everything about the Bible. You just have to provide a safe place for people to come and talk and be open and open the word and just talk without any major agenda. And we just talk about life and the Bible and how we can grow and learn together and lean on one another. I really felt when you were talking about just opening the word and that you don't have to know everything to join a heart crew. Or, Josh, you were talking about kind of being afraid of I don't want them to think I don't know what I'm saying or that kind of thing. You're all in it together and you learn and lean together as you figure it out. That's the overall mission here, is to become together, becoming like Jesus for the sake of others. It's not together we have become Jesus. That's
for
not
sure.
what we're talking about. We're talking about becoming, and becoming is forever a process that we won't know until we get to heaven and we're then there with God. And just know you don't have to have everything together.
Yeah.
Can I add one thing to that?
Yeah.
First, I know you said we close it, but it's actually not. People can come to me at any time and want to start a heart crew.
Did I say
So-
close it? Oh, yeah.
But it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay that you said it. I just want to make sure everybody knows, if you're there's nothing that fits here for me, not the day and time, not what we need with our kids. I want you to come to me and we will figure out how to get you started. And it's not hard. We provide so many tools to make it very easy for people who want to help create that space, open their homes, open their hearts to other people, to give you everything you need to get that done.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So
Love
good.
that.
Well, one thing I love that you were kind of getting at too is that's a big part of why we do this podcast. Although this is a podcast and we're not necessarily in a real living room space right now, we are all on a very complex, extraordinary, beautiful, crazy journey in following the Lord and becoming more like Jesus for the sake of others. And so I just kind of want to go there today with you guys of where are you at right now, personally, like in your journey with the Lord on this crazy, extraordinary, beautiful, and, you know, just wild journey at times. But where are you guys at, and where do you see your crew kind of coming alongside you right now in this season? I know that's a pretty deep question. So
I know we are just all about authenticity. We're about honesty and vulnerability. And if we could never be fake on this podcast, I think we would do God justice, and he would be proud of us, and we'd be obedient. But like, if you're just being honest, just having a conversation with some people in the room, like, do you feel like this is like the season that you're in right now is complex, but you're trusting, or it's beautiful and you're praising, or like it's extraordinary and I've seen God do miracles and I know he'll do them in my life? Just like, where do you guys find yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in an interesting season. I mean, I'm a new, what is it called?
Dad?
I almost said I'm a newborn. Well, I'm a
newborn.
I am a
You have one.
I'm kind of a newlywed, and I am a new father wed. What is it?
you're a new father. And
father?
Fatherhood?
I don't know what it is.
Parent, you're a new
New
parent.
parent.
A new.
I
You're a
guess.
new dad.
I can't think of the verbiage, but
okay.
I mean, I'll say for me, it's been tough. I mean, learning how to parent and also be in a crew and also work at a church and balance marriage at the same time has been a lot tougher than I thought it would, you know. And I'll be extra vulnerable. My wife told me the other night, she said, I need a parent. I need you to be a parent and not a babysitter, you know? So
Wow.
I know, like, for me, wise, like,
That's a word.
yeah, and it's like I could have taken that and been like, oh, what are you talking about? I'm tired. I work so much, this and that.
Yeah.
But instead it's like, you know what? Like, I know that, like, I need to step up more, you know? Like, I step up in my job. I step up in my crew, you know? I got to step up more in my marriage and in my family. And I think being in this crew, for me, has helped me to see other parents and not just how great they do, but they explain their mistakes that they've made in parenthood, and I can grow and learn from that, or I can just, like, you know, oh, cool, yeah, whatever, and then not take anything. But I wouldn't be applying the wisdom that I'm getting, and it is amazing to be able to see that. And also, like, I know that I'm not alone in this. Like, I have
that's
people in
good.
my crew who can help me, and
Yeah.
you know, one of them is my mentor in my life, and I know I can bring any of my problems to him, and he'll give me wisdom and advice on how to do better and to live my life better and help my family in a better way. But yeah, I mean, the
so
crew
good.
has been amazing, and I'm excited to see as Millie continues to grow up, and also just how to lead her better and lead my wife better and be a better husband and parent.
Sweet
So
Millie.
good.
That's
Little Millie.
Aw.
So good.
What about you?
Huh.
No, it's a loaded question.
Yeah, loaded
so
question today. I am in a crazy busy season of life right now. When I came on here, I wasn't looking for another responsibility, but God said, let's go. So we said, okay. So I have another full-time job. Right now I have 4 young people living in my house. 3 were born out of my womb. 1 was not. But it's been a while. So it's wild. I joke that I'm dating all summer because we don't let our kids go out on dates alone. So if their boyfriend or girlfriend are there, we're with them. So I'm like, I've just had the
I
most
love
exciting
that.
dating life.
Yeah. Taking notes over here.
Yeah,
notes.
yeah, it's crazy. So it's just a busy time. But what's interesting is before all this kind of kicked up this half of the year, God had really just been speaking to my heart about abiding, about staying connected to the vine. And it's something we talk about all the time, but I don't think I've ever actually lived it as intensely as I'm living it right now. And I will say we started a crew in January. We didn't start at the beginning because we didn't know we were staying here at Pure Heart. We were just here to help for a little bit. But right away, these people have been amazing. They have jumped in to lead when we got sick. They have asked every week, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do to make this good? I have had so much joy watching them figure this out. One of the things we asked crews to do is do a service project together. So we took our crew to an organization here that helps out group foster group homes. And none of them had ever gone to serve before somewhere like that. And we could bring all the kids. And so just watching all that happen, I just know, like, okay, God, we're right where we're supposed to be, even if it feels crazy at the moment, you know?
Yeah.
And so this abiding, that's where I am right now. And it's a constant reminder. I found myself, we were kind of talking about this morning, but I find myself getting up in the morning being like, I have to go do this and I have to do this. And oh my gosh, how am I? And I'm like, stop,
Yeah.
stop talking about it. I had to stop my self-talk of building this up to be a negative thing of all the things. And I feel like the abiding is a piece of that, you know, is just going to him and knowing like, okay, there's a lot on there today, but you've got it. And I'm just going to stay really close to you.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll be nice to everyone.
Yeah.
That's my prayer.
Apart from him, you can do nothing.
Yes, that's
so
my
real.
prayer. So yeah, that's where, and there's good days and there's bad days.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
we're doing it. We're doing what he says.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And thank you for just being real and vulnerable. I know we didn't really prep you on that question. So thank you for just like being willing and,
Yeah.
I don't know, just open and sharing. We always want this place, this podcast to be just a really safe place to be able to have real, vulnerable conversations just about the complexity of life, because we know even in ministry, that does not mean we are, you know, not going to run into just our daily hardships and life in general. And so just really value the wisdom that you guys brought to the table. And so just, yeah, thank you for that so much. And I think it's beautiful that we get to be an example of what community looks like even here in a studio, you know,
Yeah.
where you can go so much deeper in someone's home or even at a coffee shop or wherever a crew may be. But I just think it's cool that we get to exemplify that here and encourage anybody who is listening or watching today to not be afraid to take that faith jump and to hop right into a crew this season. It's not too late. We actually have opportunities this weekend at Heart Rally weekend. It's going to be a party, so make sure you're there this weekend or watching online too. Watching online is going to be great. But it'll be a great opportunity for you to actually meet crew leaders, right?
Yeah.
That'll be outside at the tables or in the lobby. So don't miss out on an opportunity to get connected. And if you do, you can still talk to us through the app, through the website, through Connection Hub.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'd love to get you connected. But
Good. Don't do life alone.
thank you for being our very first
guest.
guest.
That's so exciting. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been so fun.
I feel like we need to be back next week for small group in here.
Let's do it.
Why not?
You guys are always welcome back.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to just keep creating opportunities for conversations to happen and talking about Jesus and the beautiful, extraordinary, complex journey of following Jesus with our whole heart and our whole soul, and doing it together in community is what it's all about.
Yep.
And that's this episode, and we'll catch you next time.